What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? We are back with the Breakdown Podcast. That's Alex, that's Cam, I'm Peyton. We're going to be giving y'all our reactions for each game, for each fantasy performance of the week. Starting off with Thursday night, we had Commanders at Bears. Kind of a doozy.
Not even kind of. It set the tone whenever Curtis Samuel dropped that touchdown, and that was pretty much would have been the only fantasy relevant play for that game.
I think the highest scorer this week was Brian Robinson with 12 points.
Yeah,
I think that
and
was
Darnell Mooney may have a little bit of value going forward. He had 13 targets, so he's at least worth keeping on your bench, actually.
right. Yeah,
I still don't. It's your reaction. I still don't like that Washington backfield. I still think it's way too crowded, and
Stay away from it.
I think Robinson is going to be like a flex play.
if it's a double flex league, maybe
matchup dependent flex play.
I guess more than half of his points came on a dropped punt because they muffed the punt and they put him on the fly
And
he ran it.
not catching passes, so I think he's a little bit of a flex play.
And then our very big upset, Falcons and the 49ers.
I
you
don't
went
think you
crazy.
can start Falcons pass catchers anymore with confidence. He had a touchdown, but he had 3 catches. London is kind of gone in the tank, so
Yeah,
Is Mariota a fringe?
Mariota's a solid streamer QB.
Only because of the rushing upside.
With how bad
purely.
the quarterbacks are, he's a streamer. But a couple weeks ago he put up 4 points. So if
You
you
can-
start him, you have to
Yeah,
understand.
you can really see how the injury of Cordell Patterson really hurt this offense fantasy wise.
And no RBs are fantasy relevant in that offense.
He was literally doing everything for them in that elevated Drake London to do what he
So
did.
as far as the Falcons offense, I think we realize there's no sure starters. And then the 49ers.
Ayuk went off 28 points this week, and then we have a total opposite guy, Jeff Wilson, had 0.5 points
Put
this
in the
week.
doghouse after he was expected to be pretty much a top 10 running back.
So that backfield may get messy. I feel like Wilson will probably come back this week and still have the main role.
I think so. I would doubt they give it to Tevin Coleman. who
But I
they
think
signed for
Ayuk is probably working his way into a starting conversation if for bye weeks and injuries and stuff like that. I think it'll be a solid play, especially this week against Kansas City, where they're probably not
Anything
to
can
throw.
happen, yeah.
So yeah.
Just Ayuk and Debo, and then Kittle also had a decent game as well.
Yeah, I mean, you probably have
Yeah.
to start Kittle at tight end because tight end is just so shallow.
Yeah. Next game coming up, we have the Patriots at Browns. Ramondre season. I mean,
Until Damien gets back, he's just set and forget starter.
And I think Hunter Henry's starting to produce. Zappy obviously had a pretty good game.
I think Myers came back down to earth a little bit, but he's still a solid flex to low wide receiver
I think right now Myers is probably a high wide receiver 3.
And then for the Browns, I mean, this is what happens when you have Nick Chubb. You have to understand that if they ever get down in a game or face a good rushing defense,
Chubb's not getting any points, man.
not
Is
going to
it
do well.
coming to the point where everyone's realizing that Chubb is a touchdown reliant player? Like his games where he scores those 20 plus is only going to be
He
touchdowns.
needs a touchdown.
He's been touchdown.
Hunt didn't do anything. I think Hunt will bounce back. It's just that offense is until Deshaun gets back and they have like a really good passing quarterback.
Right,
You can't expect them to.
And Amari Cooper's going to, when Watson comes back up, Amari Cooper's going to just keep taking off. I mean, Amari Cooper's a set and forget type of player as well.
And I will say, Njoku's probably a top 10 tight end.
Yes.
How shallow it is.
Starting
He's
Njoku.
solid. He's solid enough.
Yeah, I think he had
He had like 8, I think.
I know, but he had 3 straight games of
10 plus.
a 35-yard catch and
Yeah.
5 receptions or something like
So
that.
he's been
Something
really,
pretty.
he's been really solid.
Yeah. Next up, we have the Jets at the Packers.
Brees Hall's an RB1. It's a time. Brees Hall's an RB1.
I think Lazard's a wide receiver too. Wide receiver too. He's been playing great.
I don't think any of the Jets receivers you can start with confidence. Elijah Moore you can probably drop.
A couple people I don't think you start with confidence. AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones. Man, that backfield is just
You
so
probably
sketchy.
have to start Aaron Jones because you have no other options. But AJ Dillon's a fringe flex play right now, and I was just saying you can't start any Jets wide receivers with confidence. Drop Elijah Moore.
Yeah.
0 targets.
Then we have Jags and the Colts. Deion Jackson.
Deion Jackson had 10 catches, 80 yards, 40 yards on the ground, a touchdown.
Put no more points than JT.
Sheesh.
They went for the ball to Deion Jackson. but not
Pittman is
JT.
back to his wide receiver 1 status with that volume.
13 catches for like 164 yards.
Alec Pierce is looking like
You might be able to start him.
Alec Pierce looking like he
Are
can
you
be
starting him next week?
I'm starting him this week. Have to with buys, but
In a
he's
3
looking-
wide receiver, 3 flex
I'm
league.
starting him against Cameron this week, so I think he's going to be solid.
Yeah.
ETN, it's finally looking like ETN's taking over that backfield.
Right. As it was expected.
Matter of time.
Love ETN.
And the Jaguars wide receivers, Kirk has really come back down to earth after that hot start. Part of the problem is their passing game is just not very consistent.
Yeah, T-Law had a good game this week,
Up and down.
but I mean, you can't really
Yeah.
plug him with confidence. Then Vikings, the Dolphins. This was a pretty high scoring game fantasy wise.
I want to say I think Tyreek's a top 4 wide receiver going forward.
Yeah.
He can produce with any quarterback. Teddy stepped in and Teddy threw for like 300 yards,
Yeah.
and then Tyreek ended with like 180 yards.
I want to say Joe Waddle
15%,
got back
15.
on track too, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, look when Tua gets back, those guys are still set and forget as starters.
100%.
Mostert didn't have a good game, did he?
They just threw the ball the whole game.
That backfield was a little bit of a mess. Mostert's still probably the guy.
Mostert gets most of the snaps.
Yeah, and then
yeah.
Vikings. I mean, Jettis, you're starting. Cook, you're starting every week.
Thielen, you're starting every.
Thielen, you're starting most weeks, knowing that there's a chance he gets 4, and there's a chance he gets 20.
Yeah, he had a solid week. He caught a touchdown and a 2-point
I mean,
conversion.
Kirk had a solid week too. I think maybe
maybe.
20. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
Kirk's
know.
a fringe QB1.
Kirk sucks.
Then
Kirk
Bengals
does.
and the Saints. Jamar Chisley's back on track. Had a 30-point game. Same with Joe Burrow. Both of them put up 30-point games
Right.
each.
T. Higgins owners, you're happy that he actually played. He did have like 10 targets, I think. So
What do you end with? Like
he had
8?
10,
10, 8.
6 for 47, but
Okay.
he had 10 points. So I mean, you'll take that. And at least he's healthy.
Saints wise, Kamara's
Kamara's come back to life. He's getting.
I am kind of
absolutely
scared for this week if Taysom plays, if Taysom starts, because that could take a lot of value.
I
away
think
from
he'll still
him.
get a lot of. Because they're gonna even
But
if
Taysom
Taysom
does
starts,
not
he's
check the ball down.
They're gonna feed him.
But if
They're gonna
Taysom
feed
starts, they're
Kamara.
gonna have to like actually treat him like a quarterback.
They're gonna feed him.
I don't know that the start Taysom had last year, I think it was against
The Falcons.
Falcons. I think he had like 15 rushing, or 15
I mean,
rush
yeah,
attempts,
but
and threw the ball maybe
Kamara's
20
getting that
times.
workload right now, and he's rushing really effective. And then
Yeah.
for the wide receivers, I mean,
You're hoping MT comes back soon.
or Olave, you're hoping one of them. And they're
Did
probably.
Landry play this week?
I think Callaway led them in points.
I think
Or Stanson.
No,
nobody.
yeah.
Nobody.
Traquan Smith.
Traquan Smith, that's right.
And then
yeah.
Jawan Jennings.
Yeah.
Or not, Jawan
Johnson.
Johnson.
You're not starting any of those guys if MT
Right.
and Olave are still out.
Then you have the Ravens, the Giants. Lamar's kind of fallen off, I think, big time, huh?
Mhm.
He went from 30 plus games to 13, maybe.
People were, he was a
He's a
QB1
QB1 for like
after
4
like
weeks.
four weeks.
Mark Andrews is just an absolute stud.
Yeah, Andrews is probably a top 15, 20 player in fantasy.
Yeah. Giants wise, you're only starting Saquon Barkley. Wandale Robinson is a nice pickup though.
Yes,
If-
go
if
pick
he's
up
not
Wanda
rostered
Robinson.
in your
Daniel Jones and 2 QB.
I saw he had 3 catches for 37 yards and a touchdown. He played. I think he ran 11 routes. So that's, he wasn't even like fully healthy, so he didn't even play
That's
a lot.
exciting
But
to think
It's
about.
encouraging.
with Tony and Galladay hurt, I mean, he's definitely worth a look.
And then Steelers and the Buccaneers. I mean,
It's supposed to be a get right game for the Bucs offense.
Claypool and Deontay kind of went off for the Steelers.
Yeah,
Claypool
I
had
still don't think
huge-
Claypool's a guy you can start.
He had a huge game. So I agree with that.
And then Evans had a 8-point game. Godwin had.
Godwin had a pretty good game.
What?
I think Godwin had a pretty solid game. He got like 13.
Yeah. You were hoping for a boom week though.
Against the Steelers, you were hoping for probably like a 20, 25. But Lincoln and Brady. I mean, Lenny got his touches.
I think Najee
Money's
had,
got
like,
like
Najee had what 13.
Yeah, Najee caught a touchdown.
Najee's. I'm still out on Najee.
Don't like
Just-
Najee, man.
I don't think he scored over
Unfortunately.
like 14 points this year.
Yeah, no.
That sucks.
And then we got the Rams and the Panthers.
Uh,
This was kind of a nobody really turned this game on. It was Cup didn't really play very
Cup
well.
had 16, I think, which is a down game.
Skoranek had a good game. Skoranek had like a 20-yard rushing touchdown.
A-Rob finally got back more involved in the offense.
He caught 5 balls this week. Wow.
He did that, like, I think, didn't week 2, he had a really good game too. He had a game.
No. He had like 3 catches for like 15 yards and touchdown.
Okay, so yeah, we'll see if that holds up.
And then
now that they're
it
going
won't.
into a bye,
It's
but
not.
Higbee was banged up. He had a dud. He only had
so
one.
he'll probably be fine after the bye.
And then the only startable Panthers player is CMC. I'm not
touching anybody in the Panthers with a stick.
I think
I
if
don't
you
even-
have DJ Moore, you start
I
him.
don't think you can even start him anymore.
I don't
think you can start
he
him.
was like your 4th round pick.
I
The
don't-
only thing you can hope is that Sam Darnold comes back and wins the starting job
Feeds him.
and decides he wants to throw to DJ Moore. That's literally the only thing you can do. Robbie Anderson's gone, so good for him too.
Yeah.
Jeez.
We saw what happened
Boogie
after that
Anderson.
game. We got the Seahawks and the Cardinals.
Storyline is that Marquise Brown might miss a year, which is absolutely killer for some of you because he was a wide receiver one. So I think he was wide
And we
receiver
were all high
6
on him.
coming in the year, and we were all high on him. We pat ourselves on the back. We absolutely killed that one, but
D Hop's gonna take over that role now.
D Hop, you're starting him right away. He's
Yeah.
going to be the.
He's gonna be the guy.
Murray
Thursday night,
Jeff.
you're gonna see him immediately.
If you have Murray at quarterback, I mean, you're starting him every week, but he's just.
I think one thing that we can agree we missed on was the backfield.
Yeah.
The Cardinals. James Conner is hurt, looking awful. This whole offense, like
Disappointing.
they scored 9 points against.
Outside of Hollywood
against the
Brown, it's been
Seahawks.
just a disappointing offense. Ertz has been a good tight end, though, which is
9 points against the Seahawks.
yeah.
That's like
it's
embarrassing.
pathetic.
Yeah, and then for the Seahawks, you had Geno and then Kenneth Walker.
Kenneth
Walker's
Walker's
Kenneth Walker's
scoring
an
that
RB2
team.
going forward.
A high RB2 going forward.
I could see him jumping up into an RB1.
He's gonna get the work. I think TJ Dallas was second in line behind him. He had 2 carries for 1 yard, so I
carries.
mean, he's gonna get.
And then you have DK and Tyler Lockett. You're probably starting both of those guys in your league.
I
both
mean,
even
you
had-
start Tyler Lockett. I mean, depending on how deep your league is, if you're in a deeper league, you're starting Tyler Lockett, knowing that this guy might get me 5, he might get me 20, and you roll with it. DK's you're probably starting him every week now.
Definitely. And then
Gino is.
I think he's a matchup dependent
Yeah, I
guy
agree.
now.
a little bit. And then, I mean, probably the best fantasy game of the week, Bills Chiefs. You had Diggs,
Juju.
Allen, Singletary,
Diggs is just-
Juju, Kelsey,
Diggs is just the man
Mahomes.
over there. Gabe Davis had a touchdown.
Gabe Davis had
Continue to.
Diggs gets fed the ball. It's
Diggs,
ridiculous. I mean, if you
as they
Diggs,
should.
if I think Alex hit on that perfectly.
I had Diggs, my wide receiver 2, coming into the year.
Yeah, and then I mean that Chiefs and Bills, you're starting.
Pretty much.
I
every player.
think Juju, you can not.
Juju
Juju's
had
a
a come
flex.
back to life game,
I think he's a flex.
which is.
I don't know. I think the
Juju with that long-
he had 5 catches.
With that long touchdown, you're not
It's
going to
hard to
start him
bank
with
on that.
straight confidence. And in CH, you could go ahead and
Bench.
Don't
bench.
do that.
Stop. Don't start him. McKinnon, if they're throwing the ball, McKinnon's in the game, or
Yeah.
Pacheco's in the game.
Yeah, this is pretty much turning into a committee now.
CH is not running the ball.
CH is now a matchup dependent flex. at best.
And then we saw another backfield. Singletary gave us most carries of the.
Yeah, which is
the
really it was kind of surprising if you watch that game. They really were trying to run the ball for what seemed like the first time all year.
Yeah, I mean
And-
the
And they're
storyline.
running it effectively though.
The storyline with
They
the
ran
Bills
it
was they
really
couldn't
well.
run the ball, and then they were kind of
So,
getting
we'll
6-7
Continue to see if that's. I think Singletary's a high end flex play, low RB2.
Yeah, definitely.
Sometimes the only problem with Singletary is they get up by so much that
He's
he
up the
just
game.
gets taken out of the game, or if Josh Allen is having one of those nights where he's throwing the ball all around the field,
Right.
throwing deep to Davis or Diggs, there's never at any point to run the ball.
The problem with the Singletary thing is he has no touchdowns.
Yeah.
Allen, it's an Allen run or it's an Allen pass in the end zone. There's
Yeah.
no running the ball in that offense.
Yeah, like kind of, not even kind of, just diminishes his value overall.
Once
Yeah,
again,
exactly.
the Bills is just such a. You're probably
Yeah,
starting.
so
everyone on the Bills.
Allen's probably the quarterback 1. Mahomes probably the top 5 quarterback. Diggs top 5.
Kelsey's the number
Kelsey's the
one.
number 1.
On to the Sunday game, Eagles and Cowboys.
Cowboys need Dak back, man. You really saw that when they faced a real defense.
Zeke had a really good game.
Zeke did have a good
He
game.
played really well, but he always kills the
And
Eagles.
even if people think that Pollard is a better runner, Zeke's getting paid. He's going to get the bulk of the carries. That's just how it's going to be.
CeeDee Lamb's a plug and play guy, obviously.
I like Gallup. If Dak comes back, I think Gallup is really going to get a boost from that because I think he had like 8 targets.
I think he had like 8 targets, and I think he had 2 or 3 end zone targets too.
Yeah, but he had
So-
2 catches because Rush was just
Yeah.
awful.
not playing very good.
Eagles, that offense is. I mean, AJ Brown is probably a borderline top 10 guy.
One stat on Gallup that I just randomly know is that when he averages 6 targets a game, he averages 14 points.
So yeah, so
Also, Miles Sanders trending downwards right
yeah.
now.
Did he score? He scored, right? And he had 14 points. I don't think
it.
I
think
he's
it's
probably
just
trending downward, but he's just the starting running back in the most efficient rush offense in the league.
Yeah.
I think he's at least a flex, but I think you have to at least have him in your lineup.
I think you're plugging him in your lineup, but I would try to get your value on him while you can, because I think his value is just gonna go down slightly. But I do like that. I do like
And I
that.
think Dallas, or not Devontae Smith, sorry, is probably a wide receiver 2 going forward. Low wide receiver 2.
And Dallas Carter is a top 5 tight end, I think.
Yeah, he had a rough game this week, but
His
that position.
the schedule, the Eagles' schedule going forward, I think
It's
they play like
very
the Falcons,
easy.
the Browns,
Everyone
then
eats
the
the
Lions.
in the NFL. Yeah.
not the Lions,
Yeah.
but either way, they get a pass catcher on the Eagles is gonna help you out.
And then our Monday night game was Chargers Broncos.
I don't even
Yeah,
want to
it's
talk
just
about this. To be honest.
disgusting.
You have Eckler.
Sutton put up 3.
It's gone. You officially can't say anyone on the Broncos is a must start. You can't say that anymore. I mean, Sutton's the closest guy, and he had 3 points last night.
I
Russ,
think-
you're not starting.
I think it's just Sutton.
I think it's just Sutton.
Judy at flex.
But if you have Sutton, maybe you're in a 2 wide receiver, 1 flex league, and you tell me my wide receivers are Michael Pittman and, I don't know,
Debo Samuel.
Debo. Yeah, Michael Pittman and Debo Samuel, like Peyton.
Yeah, like
If you told me that, and then you said I got Brees Hall, Kamara, and Ramondre Stevenson at RB, I'm telling you, yeah, sit Cortland Sutton.
right. Yes.
So I
Put
mean,
in Ramondre.
Sutton's not a lineup lock for me if you're in a shallower league.
Good for the Chargers. Mike Will is. He
This is always what it
it's
was
so
with
expected.
Mike Will.
He goes from
It's
25 to 2.
I mean, he was an absolute box last night.
That's what. Yeah,
It's
that's
just
what it was.
You
Going
just have to
forward.
expect it.
You kind of expected a down game considering the he's going against Surtain. And,
But Eckler's back to RB1 status.
Yeah.
I mean, what, 15 targets?
Yeah. They need Keenan back
14
for their
yards.
offensive sake bad. Once Keenan's back, you're playing him every week.
He's their safety net. Yeah,
Gerald
he's the guy.
Everett, I'm expecting once Keenan back for him to
Go down.
Really
Don't
have no
also
role.
Parham is taking
Parham
a
actually
bunch of
did-
touches away from.
he's finally
Everett.
healthy. He came back in.
Palmer had a good game.
Palmer did have a
He had
good
like
game.
8 catches.
Yeah, he was like the only receiver that they could.
Also,
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that ball didn't move at all.
And
but
Herbert,
yeah.
I mean, Herbert kind of struggled past couple weeks as a fantasy quarterback.
I think Herbert might have had 6 or 8 points.
Herbert was like a locked-in top 5 quarterback coming into
But
the year, and
once-
then
I
now
think-
he's
I think he's like
He might be. I mean,
outside the top 10.
someone in our league started Geno Smith over Herbert this week.
and it paid off, and Geno Smith had a better game.
Yeah.
And Geno Smith didn't even have a touchdown, and he had like 13 points because
Yeah,
Geno
so,
Smith has sneaky rushing upside.
I'm probably, but once I think Allen gets back, I think Herbert was really going to pick it up. You
I
know,
think
he
easily.
will too.
You have to.
And
you
it's a
have
good
to.
matchup this week, so.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. All right, boys and girls, thank you for tuning in to the breakdown. That was our week 6 reactions for every fantasy lineup. So, if you have any questions, DM us on our TikTok, Instagram.
Follow the
Follow
TikTok,
us.
please.
Peace.
Please.